I mean, are we really that surprised that nobody noticed a tall guy named Jeffrey at Toys R Us? Hey everybody, welcome to Mainly Movies. As part of my coverage of TIFF50, the 2025 Toronto International Film Festival, today I'm going to be talking about the 2025 crime comedy drama Roofman, which will be released in theaters on October 10th. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for a variety of movie-related content, like reviews, rank lists, and recommendations. All my reviews include a breakdown of the pros and cons, my rating, and even some tailored film recommendations, so be sure to watch through to the end of this video for all that extra content. Roofman stars Channing Tatum, Kirsten Dunst, and LaKeith Stanfield, and was directed by Cianfrance. Based on a true story, it tells the tale of a spree robber who escapes from jail and evades capture by living in a Toys R Us. As anybody who watches movies knows, there are a lot of different ways a movie idea can come about. Real-life stories often make their way to the big screen, either as documentaries or biopics about real people or events, providing an informative or moving look at their subjects. Often, though, general audiences tend to gravitate towards something fictional, something funny, something scary or thrilling or dramatic, something exciting. People are drawn to escapism that takes them away from their own lives, even if only for a few hours. Fictional stories are, of course, rarely completely made up. They're usually compiled from various bits and pieces of inspiration, at least partially influenced by events or people in the writer's life, recompiled in a way that's unrecognizable to all who were not involved. Both types of story originations are valid and have produced countless films over the years, but what happens when these two story origin methods merge? What happens when you're presented with a true story that sounds like it's fiction? Crazy But True is a draw. Nostalgia is arguably an even bigger draw, and Roofman capitalizes on both. It takes us back to the early to mid-2000s, back to the days of Toys R Us, of Blockbuster, of Circuit City. It tells the ridiculous, unbelievable story of a crime spree and manhunt, the story of Jeffrey Manchester, a man who robbed 50 McDonald's by sawing through their roofs at night, a man who escaped from prison and lived in a Toys R Us for 6 months to evade recapture, all while somehow becoming an active part of the local community. It all sounds like the plot to a movie. And now, it is. Cianfrance is a name we typically associate with heavy dramas and heartbreaking, doomed romances. But silly crime comedy? The director of Blue Valentine and The Place Beyond the Pines making crowd-pleasing comedic entertainment? That just doesn't feel like it'd be a thing. And yet, that's exactly what he's created here with Roofman. It's funny, it's romantic, it's got some thrilling criminal moments and entertaining calculated schemes, but it's also not just some throwaway comedy or ultralight popcorn-munching fare. It's got some heart, it's got some drama and some recognizable and relatable relationship elements. It's not dark or emotionally fraught, it's not a thinker or a movie that has some sort of profound message, but it's not exactly just a turn-your-brain-off kind of film either. Instead, it's a pleasant surprise, an enjoyable mix of genres, tones, and ideas, made all the more entertaining, of course, by the true story absurdity of it all. That absurd true story packs enough of an intrigue punch to carry the film for a little while, but it's the lead performances that really help it go the distance. Channing Tatum is wonderful in this film, playing a kind-hearted, super smart, dumb guy who makes all the wrong decisions, mostly for the right reasons. Or at least understandable reasons. Like the film as a whole, Tatum is extremely charming and likable, despite playing a fugitive who lies to everyone he cares about throughout the entire story. That likability and charm is key though, making us not only care about the character, but also making us actively root for a guy we have no business actually rooting for. Tatum is very funny here, incorporating entertaining line delivery, situational humor, and athletic physical gags, but he's also given the opportunity to show off some of his slightly more serious acting chops too. Tatum may be the primary lead here, but he's paired with Kirsten Dunst as Lee, the recently divorced mom of two who works at the Toys R Us Jeff calls home. Despite being constructed entirely on lies and deception, their relationship is equally easy to root for. Tatum and Dunst have surprisingly great chemistry, and their characters become involved in a sweet family situation you could see really working. under literally any other circumstances. Roofman understandably dedicates a lot of time to Jeff and Lee, with most of the focus on Jeff's criminal and evasionary escapades, as well as the rom-com and rom-dram aspects of his and Lee's relationship. Unfortunately, that means that other characters and plotlines are severely underdeveloped. For example, LaKeith Stanfield's Steve, a military buddy of Jeff's, is extremely underutilized in the story, and Steve's girlfriend, Michelle, played by Juno Temple, is even more so. I'm not sure if these characters have a basis in reality or if they're purely fictional creations for the film, but they're primarily used as a convenient plot device and completely ignored by the story the rest of the time. The script is enjoyable and decently strong when it comes to the comedy and romance, but comes up short in other regards. This is a story that frequently hints at having larger thematic aspirations, at commenting on consumerism, the criminal justice system, soldiers readapting to life at home, the public's fascination with criminals and their short memories once the media frenzy dies down. But then the film just never does anything to explore any of these ideas, or even to really address the obvious moral ambiguity of what Jeff does as he inserts himself into the life of Lee and her daughters. That's, of course, not to say that Roofman is a movie that had to get serious, or one that was ever really intending to explore heavier themes. There's nothing wrong with an enjoyable, entertaining crowd pleaser. But those pieces, those ideas and themes, were right there, just left temptingly hanging on the vine. Roofman is an extremely enjoyable crowd-pleasing film, but there's something about it that does feel a bit insubstantial after the sugary satiation wears off, much like a dinner of peanut M&Ms. Alright, let's talk about the pros and cons. Pro number one is definitely Channing Tatum. He's funny, charming, endearing, and likable, taking this doofy criminal who all but abandons his family and constantly lies to those closest to him, and somehow making him super easy to root for. His blend of sweetness, situational humor, and physical comedy make the goofy absurdity of the crazy but true scenario work, and his innate chemistry with Kirsten Dunst, and literally everybody else in the film, helps to add the needed emotional weight to the story to ground it in its actual existing reality. The second pro is how crowd-pleasing this movie is. That may sound like a weird thing to classify as a pro, at least as somebody who's not a publicist or marketer, but this really does have this broadly enjoyable appeal, and it's just such an all-around likable movie. Obviously, Channing Tatum's performance is a big contributor to this likability, like I just said in the last pro, but this crowd-pleasing quality goes beyond just him, to the story and film as a whole. It's endearing, it's funny, it's romantic, there's some drama and light suspense. It's a film that just hits all the right marks to deliver a story an audience can enjoy and really get behind. On the con side, the biggest issue has got to be the underutilized characters and plot lines. Now, obviously, this kind of issue isn't that rare in film. Plenty of stories devote most of their focus to a select few characters, leaving the rest underdeveloped, or at the very least underused. And that's exactly what happens here. This film spends so much time on Jeff, Lee, and their relationship that most of the other characters and subplots fall by the wayside. And that's fine to a certain degree. It just makes characters like LaKeith Stanfield's Steve and Juno Temple's Michelle feel superfluous, which is really too bad, because they not only give good performances, but also serve as an inroad to broader themes that are hinted at in the story, but ultimately left unexplored. Before I give you my rating and recommendations, I want to remind you that if you're interested in buying Roofman, or any of the other films I mentioned today, I do have affiliate links for all of them in the description below. I get a small commission from anything you buy using one of my links, so I'd really appreciate it if you'd use them, if you're in the market for any of these movies, or anything else. I'm gonna give Roofman 4 out of 5 paws. It's a crowd pleaser that provides us with one of the easiest to root for bad guys in a long time. The crazy but true story at the center of this crime comedy drama provides the framework for the film, but it's the heart imbued by the script and performances that really tie it all together. I would recommend Roofman to anybody looking for a fun, breezy, easy to like and watch film. It's very funny and sort of silly in its crazy but true kind of way, but it's not just a throwaway comedy. Sure, it's definitely an entertaining crowd pleaser, but there's some actual emotion and heart built into it too. It never digs too deep into any of its themes, and the underlying whys of the story are superficially glossed over and never quite explored, but it remains a solidly enjoyable time. fans of Kirsten Dunst and or Channing Tatum won't be disappointed in their performances. And if you're somebody who doesn't particularly like Channing Tatum, well, you may very well find yourself a little surprised here. If you liked Roofman, I would recommend Catch Me If You Can. This Steven Spielberg period film is another based on an unbelievable true story movie about a very charming and likable criminal who's incredibly easy to root for, this time played by Leonardo DiCaprio. If you'd like another comedy drama about a man stuck living in an unusual place, you should watch The Terminal. Tom Hanks plays a man who finds himself without a country, unable to return home due to a coup and unable to enter the US, instead trapped in geographic limbo at JFK Airport. Unlike Jeff, he's no criminal, but his is another entertaining and heartfelt story of interactions and connection. And if you'd like another film about a criminal who unexpectedly finds himself in the position of being a father figure, you might want to watch Paper Moon. Full of humor and pathos, this crime comedy drama stars real-life father and daughter, Ryan and Tatum O'Neal, as a con man and a young orphan along for the ride. Alright, a couple questions for you guys. Number 1, have you seen Roofman? If so, what'd you think of it? And number 2, what's your favorite movie about a crazy but true story? Be sure to leave your answers in the comments below so we can get a discussion going. Alright, so if you got some enjoyment, insight, or information on this review, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe while you're at it to see more videos like this. Till next time, this has been Alyssa with Mainly Movies, the way life should be.